Very complicated story, which involves a person that was dealing with the military and a little girl. I mean, absolutely none of the story makes any sense at all. And you would think that if somebody is serving our country, that they would be a good parent. You would just hope that because they're doing something very noble to serve our country. Shout out to all of our military out there. But that doesn't make them infallible either. But let me give you guys, and that's a beautiful little baby. I just don't really know what happened here. But let's talk about this. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. I'm getting this story from WRAL.com. I've gotten articles from them before, but thank you for this article. In February of last year, 8-month-old Misty Lou Delator was pronounced dead at UNC Hospital in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. An autopsy from the state medical examiner's office ruled her death as a homicide. Nearly a year later, no one has been charged. And they didn't have any suspicions. They just didn't have evidence, I guess. In a year, no one's been charged. Yet a soldier is under investigation. Delator's mother and maternal grandmother reached out to WRAL Investigates, determined to bring attention to this case in hopes of getting justice. It's disgusting, grandmother Misty Brace said through tears. She was 8 months old. How could you hurt a baby like that? She was beautiful, green eyes, beautiful little baby, and I just keep thinking why, and I want to know why. The autopsy said that the baby was home alone with her father by the name of Gabriel Seville, which, beautiful little baby. Beautiful little baby. Beautiful smile, too. I don't understand how you wouldn't want to protect this child and all children. I remember when my daughter was this age, and I know how I felt. You just want to just give them everything to keep that smile on their face. I'll show y'all a picture of him real quick. Again, this is who we're talking about. This is Gabriel Seville, who is an active duty soldier at Fort Liberty. Her father stated that she had not been feeling well and she had vomited. He slapped her on the back to clear her airway. How many times have y'all heard murderous parents say those exact words? Too many times on my channel. Not been feeling well, so you slap a baby? Like, that don't make any damn sense. The autopsy clearly disputes that narrative, noting the nature of the injuries are highly associated with abusive head trauma in infants and would be hard to be explained by anything else. It details damage to her eyes, spine, neck, her head, listing the cause of death as blunt force injuries and the manner of death as a homicide. So this baby was beat to death, basically. The girl was initially treated in Fayetteville and then airlifted to UNC hospitals, according to medical examiner's report. The mother and grandmother remember the baby as a happy, determined little girl. Says that she was born 3 months early and was a fighter, so she was a preemie. WRAL investigates Sarah Kruger spoke by phone to the father, Seville, who confirmed he is under investigation and yet denies harming his child, says that he would have no motive to do so. And he also did not want to do a recorded interview, he said, because of the ongoing investigation. So clearly he knows his rights. That's his right to do so. I just think that's very telling that he specifically said, I don't want to be recorded. But that's his right. On the days before Delator's death, the baby's parents had been involved in a heated custody battle. Let me say that again. Let me say it again. The parents were involved in a heated custody battle. Big red flag. The custody battle played out in Cumberland County Court. The maternal side of the family says that the father, Seville, had been absent from the child's life, that he had lived separately from the baby with another woman who he is now married to. Now that sounds real petty. This sounds like that's more of their concern, to be real. But I want y'all to understand this. I want y'all to understand how the judge ruled when it came to custody. I want y'all to catch this. Court records show that there was a judge that granted primary custody to Seville. Let me say it again. The judge granted primary custody to the father and secondary custody to the mother. So that would be indicative that the father was proving his case to be a better, more suitable parental situation than the mother. So he's going to be the one with most of the custody. That's very telling. The baby was supposed to spend 6 months of the year with each parent. She was 3 days into her stay with her father when she was hospitalized. 3 days. I want y'all to remember the level of injuries that this baby had could have been a thing where it was long-standing injuries. But I don't know that to be a fact. But I'm just saying. That might not have happened all of a sudden when she ended up in dad's custody. He had her for 3 days, Bray said. That's it. The judge was so concerned about the benefits that the military offered that she wasn't concerned about anything else. According to the medical examiner's report, Department of Social Services opened an investigation after the baby's death and removed the father from the Fort Liberty home for safety concerns of his 8-year-old stepchild and 3-month-old biological child also living there. The autopsy mentions a prior incident in 2022 of December in which a pediatrician noticed unexplained bruising on Delatour's face, writing that it is highly suspicious. The mother and grandmother say that the bruising was noted after the girl had spent time with her father. He denies any involvement in that. The news investigates, WRAL investigates sent a number of questions to Army's Criminal Investigation Division, which is handling the case. In response, a spokesperson spent in an email reading, "The Department of Army Criminal Investigation Division is aware of and investigating this tragic death." I don't know why I can't talk today. No additional details can be released at this time. Delatour and Bray said that they are frustrated about being in the dark of where the investigation stands and the slow pace of it. They don't act like they need the answer to my daughter or anybody because it's a military thing. If they were not in a military base, guarantees someone would have been arrested on the spot. And that's not necessarily true. She's just speaking out of anger from what it sounds like. Bray told WRAL investigators that she and other family members have a court date in Orange County in February as they were charged with simple assault for a brawl at a UNC hospital upon learning of the injuries to their loved one. The charges brought by Seville will go to trial. Just something to think about. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Yo, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment. Please hit that thumbs up. Say it twice. Let's listen.
This is a sad and perplexing story. This adorable 8-month-old baby died nearly a year ago, and still no one is facing charges, even though it was ruled a homicide by the state's medical examiner.
WRAL investigates. Sarah Kruger spoke with the baby's family, including the father, who confirms he's under investigation.
The father, Gabriel Seville, is an active duty soldier. According to the autopsy from the state medical examiner's office, the injuries that caused the baby girl's death happened at the family home here, while the two were alone. Only 8 months old, once a happy, smiley little girl. Misty Lou De La Torre was pronounced dead in February of last year, airlifted from Fayetteville to UNC hospitals in Chapel Hill in a final attempt to save her life. According to the autopsy from the state medical examiner's office, the father claims she had not been feeling well and she had vomited. He slapped her on the back to clear her airway. The autopsy disputes that, noting the nature of the injuries are highly associated with abusive head trauma in infants and would be hard to explain by anything else. It details damage to her eyes, spine, head, and neck, listing the cause of death as blunt force injuries and the manner of death as homicide.
It's disgusting. It's like she was 8 months old. Like, how could you hurt a baby like that?
Misty Bray is the baby's maternal grandmother. She remembers her granddaughter as determined.
She was like 3 months premature. So she came out tiny but mighty, we called her. So she just came out fighting.
Now she will keep fighting for her.
I have to, my daughter has to, we have to stand up.
We're waiting every single day for a call, and it never comes.
Alina De La Torre is the baby's mother who now lives in California.
My home doesn't feel complete without her. It feels like no matter how hard I try, it's not complete.
I had a lengthy phone call with the baby's father, Gabriel Seville, who did not want me to record the conversation. He denies hurting her. Records WRL Investigates got from the Cumberland County Courthouse show a custody battle had just taken place only days before the little girl's death. The mom's side of the family says the baby had been raised entirely by them, that Seville was an absent father, living separately and married to someone else. Yet a judge granted an equal custody split, 6 months a year with him, 6 months with the mom. The baby was only 3 days into her stay at his house when she was hospitalized.
Had he been in his daughter's life?
Never. He was there a few times. He never bought her a pack of diapers. Nothing.
According to the medical examiner's report, the Department of Social Services opened an investigation after the baby's death and removed the father from the Fort Liberty home for safety concerns of his 8-year-old stepchild and 3-month-old biological child also living there. The baby's mother and grandmother say military investigators are keeping them in the dark.
My daughter, she's so much more than just a file on their desk. That's all she is to them. And she's so much more than that.
The autopsy talks about a prior incident in which the baby had unexplained bruising on her face, as noted by the pediatrician. The mom and grandma say that showed up after a visit with her dad. He denies that. Sarah Kruger, WRAL News, Fayetteville.
I'm telling y'all, it's just something about this that just doesn't sound right at all. Again, with them making the father the primary and making the mother secondary, I think there's a reason for that. And that's normally indicative if the other parent is able to prove that they're a more suitable place for the child. That's number one. Number two, with them having these heated custody battles, I wouldn't put it past either side. Mom or dad could have harmed this baby. Number three, when you're talking about child support, here's the thing, and I thought about that also. Here's the thing that makes this situation slightly different. If they are splitting custody more times than none, both sides are not required to pay child support. The person that's the secondary if anything, is usually paying child support, which in this case would have been the mom. See how that comes into play? Because I thought about it, but you'd have to consider that also. So if he now becomes the primary, and you're talking about 8 months, if they didn't already have something in place as far as child support, then with him being the primary, that would actually remove him from his duty of paying child support. And either they split all bills down 50-50, which means that 6 months with the dad, 6 months with the mom, neither one of them should be paying child support, or the secondary parent would be the one paying, which would be the mom. On top of that, that last fight that they got into, let me see if I can bring that back up here real quick, because I thought that was interesting. See if I can bring that up. Bray told WRAL investigators that she and other family members have a court date in Orange County in February, as they were charged with simple assault for a brawl at UNC hospitals upon learning of the injuries to their loved one. I think that's a little bit telling also about the violent nature. So it's saying the mother and other family members have a court date because they were charged with simple assault. So how can you put the possibility that either parent could have done this? I think the conclusion of this is going to be very interesting depending on what details come out. So we will more than likely do a part 2 to this. I'm just saying for this particular story, because we treat every story as unique, look at that father's face, look at that baby. Don't judge this completely by what you think so far, because more information is going to come out. So Alina Delatorre is the mother, it looks like, and Gabriel Seville is the father. I think that the outcome of this is going to be very, very interesting. So don't be surprised if the roles flip-flop and the mom is being investigated and arrested, because we really don't know who actually did this. So I think it'll be interesting. We'll do an update. For now, to this young princess, R.I.P. And I think both of your parents were bad parents, because it shouldn't have ended like this. They both should have stepped outside of their feelings, outside of their homes, outside of whatever it is that they had going on, and put this baby as the priority and just held her in high regard and did the best that they could for her and let all that other BS alone. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. So I'm sure some of y'all are going to have some thoughts and opinions about this, okay? So just let me know.